Hi, my name is Richard Ford. I'm from the Gloucester Independents in Gloucester, and I'd like to talk to you today about China. That's funny, you might think. We're from Gloucester, why are we talking about China? But there is a reason, and I'll let you know why later. But just talking about China and what's happening recently in the world, rather like Germany when it became united in 1870-71, China's far too big for its neighbourhood. Its economy is too big, its population is too big, and it's on an aggressive programme of expansion at the moment, not just economically, but also geographically and militarily. And that's a cause of real concern to all of us. It surely must be. Just recently there's been problems in Hong Kong, demonstrations, treaties not being adhered to, problems in the Himalayas with India, building in the South China Sea, on territory claimed by several other nations in the neighbourhood, and of course the problem of Taiwan. So like Germany in the 1930s, China today is trying to expand and reclaim people of Chinese nationality back to the fatherland. Now, how does that affect us in Gloucester or in the UK? Well, the reason it does is because China is the world's second biggest economy. It's the UK's third biggest trading partner after the United States and after Germany. But unlike the United States, we buy more from China than China buys from us, to the tune of £22 billion. That's £22,000 million, and that's growing every single year. But this isn't a democracy we're dealing with. This isn't another similar country to the UK. What we're dealing with is a dictatorship which persecutes minorities of race and of religion. A dictatorship controlled by one party, a one-party police state, which is headed by one man. You see the parallels with Germany in the 30s? And this is a dictatorship that we are encouraging through trade. Of course we have to trade with them, but we don't trade on a level playing field. There are no health concerns in China, there's no environmental concerns, there's no workers' rights. Everything is produced at the very cheapest with no regards to health and safety, and of course has to be shipped halfway around the world to this country. How does that impact upon the environment? What it does mean, of course, is the Chinese economy continues to grow, and that enables China to finance its military, the biggest military in the world, bigger even than that of the United States of America, and growing. And a military which has a separate rocket department, as well as a separate department for espionage through the internet, fundamentally, and electronic warfare. Why do we want to keep feeding this monster, this situation, the peril of our own workers, the peril of our own wages, the peril indeed ultimately of our own country? It's a question of appeasement, and the appeasement has been going on with, not just in the UK, but with Western leaders for very many years. And going back to the 1930s, appeasement gets you nowhere. You have to face the dragon at some point, and that time surely must be now. So you're going to be thinking, well, okay, we've got this country that's growing economically, this huge military, a problem building up. Surely leaders of all parties in the UK and other Western countries are going to be prepared for that, to do something about that, and to protect us, their citizens and voters and populations, from that. We've already had the dispute about Huawei, building in Hinkley Point and all the rest of it. But no, not at all. This last week, and the reason for this video, revelation has come out that major politicians, ex-prime ministers and cabinet ministers of all political parties, are working for, been funded by, supported by a Chinese front organisation called the 48 Club. Of course, none of them now know, none of them can remember, none of them know anything about it, that they're fellows of this organisation. But the fact of the matter is, they have been and possibly still are, and photographs exist to prove it. This is a China front organisation who's funded by the China government, the 48 Club, 48 Group Club, which is only there to serve the interests of the People's Republic of China and of the Chinese Communist Party, not of the UK. So who are these people that are members, or fellows even, more than members, of this organisation, and who claim not to be. Well, that old chestnut, Tony Blair, former Prime Minister, Labour Party, there's no surprises there. He's joined by Labour colleagues such as Lord, so-called Lord Mandelson and so-called Lord Prescott. But it also involves the Lib Dems. Vince Cable, the former Lib Dem leader, is apparently a fellow, although I've got no doubt he'll deny it. And the Conservatives, another so-called Lord Heseltine, Douglas Hurd. Some of you older people may remember him from the Thatcher years. He was a PPS to Ted Heath back in the 1970s, the former Conservative Prime Minister, so that probably tells you all that you need to know. And Alex Salmond, the former First Minister of Scotland and former leader of the Scottish National Party. But of more concern, I think, to the City of Gloucester is that our local MP, Richard Graham, who is the chairman of the, he's a Mandarin speaker, he's an old China hand, and he's the chairman of the all-party parliamentary committee on China, as well as a member of the Chopsticks Club and the Westminster Forum for Democracy, of which he's chairman. He is listed on the website, or has been listed on the website of the 48 Group Club as a fellow, no less. He's now denied that. But I think, in view of all the concerns about China, in view of the trade deficit, in view of the very, very worrying intentions of the Chinese leadership at the present time, I think it really behoves Richard Graham to explain to the people of Gloucester, who he represents, who have voted for him, what is his involvement with this organisation, and be truthful and say. And there's nothing wrong, Richard, in saying you made a mistake, you didn't know, but I think the people of Gloucester would like to know, what does this shadowy organisation do? How does it benefit the people of Gloucester? How does it benefit the people of the UK? And what has been your involvement? Thank you very much indeed.